Hear from me now about the 3 kinds of pleasures of the greatest of the Bharata clan. That pleasure is said to be of the nature of sattva, which is gained by a long practice of disciplines, which puts an end to all sorrows that man is heir to, which is like poison in the beginning, but nectar-like at the end, and which springs from the serenity arising from the consciousness of the Atman. That pleasure is declared to be of the nature of rajas, which is born of the union of the senses with their objects, which seems nectar-like in the beginning, but turns to be poison in the end. That pleasure is of the nature of tamas, which springs from sleepiness, sloth, and heedlessness, and which is delusive in its effect on the spirit from beginning to end. Nowhere, be it in this world or in the heavenly regions of the devas, is there any being who is free from these 3 gunas of nature. O great hero, the duties of brahmanas, kshatriyas, vaishyas, and also of shudras have been divided according to the qualities born of their own nature. Serenity, control of the senses, austerity, purity, straightforwardness, knowledge, insight, and faith in the Supreme Being. These are a brahmana's duties born of his own nature. Prowess, splendor of personality, unfailing courage, resourcefulness, dauntlessness in battle, generosity, leadership, these are a kshatriya's duties born of his specific nature. Agriculture, cattle rearing, and trade form the duty of the Vaishya, springing from his own nature, while the natural duty of a Shudra consists in subordinate service under others. By being devoted to one's own natural duty, man attains to spiritual competency. Now hear how devotion to one's own natural duty generates spiritual competency. From whom all beings have emanated, and by whom all this universe is pervaded, by worshipping him through the dedicated performance of one's duty, man attains to spiritual competency. One's own duty, even if without excellence, is more meritorious spiritually than the apparently well-performed duty of another. For no sin is incurred by one doing works ordained according to one's nature. O son of Kunti, do not abandon the duty that is natural to you, even if some imperfections are incidental to it. For there is no undertaking without some imperfections, even as there is no fire without a covering of smoke. Completely non-attached, self-subdued, and desireless, an aspirant attains the supreme perfection of transcendence of work through renunciation. Now hear from me in brief how one who is established in the perfection of transcendence of work attains to Brahma, the highest consummation of knowledge. Endowed with a purified intellect, established in self-control, abandoning the life of the senses, as also attachments and antagonisms, frequenting solitary places, reducing food to the minimum, having speech, body, and mind under control, ever meditative, endued with dispassion, abandoning conceit, violence, lust, anger, and possessiveness, selfless and tranquil, he becomes fit for beatification in Brahma consciousness. Established in Atman consciousness, tranquil in spirit, free from grief and passions, and regarding all beings alike, he attains supreme devotion to me. By devotion does he come to know me, both my extent and my essence. Knowing me thus in truth and in reality, he enters into me at once. Though performing every kind of work always, he who has taken refuge in me shall by my grace attain to the eternal and indestructible state of spiritual liberation. Mentally resigning all actions to me, devoting yourself intensely to me, and ever practicing the communion of intellectual love, be you ever established in the thought of me. If you are thus ever in communion with me in mind, you will overcome every obstacle. But if, out of self-conceit, you do not listen to me, destruction will be your fate. Vain is your resolve not to fight, born as it is of self-conceit. Nature will compel you. O son of Kunti, duties which your natural tendencies have imposed upon you, but which out of delusion you refuse to do, even them you will have to perform by the compulsion of nature. O Arjuna, the Lord dwells in the heart of all beings, revolving them all by his mysterious power Maya, as if they were objects mounted on a machine. O scion of Bharata's clan, seek refuge in him, making a total surrender of your being, body, mind, and soul. By his grace, you shall attain to supreme peace and the everlasting abode. Thus have I imparted to you wisdom, which is more secret than all that is secret. Reflecting over this whole teaching, do as you think fit. Listen again to my supreme word, the profoundest of all spiritual teachings. You are well beloved of me, and so I shall tell you what is beneficial to you. Let your mind be engrossed in me. Be devoted to me. Offer worship to me. Be resigned to me. Beloved as you are of me, I pledge in troth, you shall come to me alone. Abandoning dependence on all dharmas, come to me as the only refuge. Grieve not, I will deliver you from all sins. This should on no account be imparted to those who do not practice austere living, who have no devotion to me, who cavil at me, and are devoid of the discipline of service. He who teaches this supremely profound doctrine among men devoted to me, having thereby offered to me the highest form of loving service, shall undoubtedly come to me alone. No man can do anything more pleasing to me than he, and nor shall anyone on earth be dearer to me than he. It is my view that he who studies this conversation between us should be regarded as adoring me with a sacrifice of knowledge. Even a man who listens to this holy conversation between us with deep faith and receptiveness shall attain to liberation and the happy regions open to righteous men. Has this teaching been heard by you, O Arjuna, with a concentrated mind? Has all delusion born of ignorance been dispelled from you, O Dhananjaya? Arjuna said, My delusion has been dispelled, and my memory restored by thy grace, O undecaying Lord. I now stand firm, with all my doubts cleared, ready to execute thy command. Sanjaya said, Thus have I heard, with my hair standing on end, this wonderful conversation between Krishna and the high-souled son of Pritha. Thus did I, by Vyasa's grace, directly hear Krishna, the Lord of Yoga, himself teaching this yoga, profound and supreme. Again and again, O King, does the memory of that sacred and astounding dialogue between Keshava and Arjuna come to my mind, causing no end of joy. Again and again does that most wondrous form of Hari arise to my mind, generating great astonishment and endless thrills of joy. Wherever there is Krishna, the Lord of Yoga, accompanied by Arjuna wielding the bow, there reign good fortune, victory, prosperity, and sound policy. Such is my conviction.